Welcome to Sunshine Lost, a series focusing on individuals who disappeared throughout the state of Florida. I'm your host, Benjamin Thomas. This episode will explore the case of Linda Louise Fletterman, who disappeared during the early morning hours of August 17, 1996, and her long-term boyfriend, who was found later that day shot dead in his house. Myakka City is nestled in the interior of the Florida Peninsula, 30 miles east-southeast of Bradenton and about 60 miles south of Tampa. The overall Myakka City area is home to 7,000 residents, but the town itself is tiny, with only a few hundred residents. Back in 1996, 4,100 people called the Myakka City area home. Myakka City is accessed primarily through Florida Highway 70 West. Myakka City has a post office, an elementary school, a firehouse, a gas station, a Dollar General, a community center, and the Myakka City Bar and Grill. 33-year-old Linda Fletterman and her boyfriend, 36-year-old self-employed mechanic Jefferson Blanton, had been a couple for some time. They both enjoyed drinking alcohol and would occasionally drink too heavily, which contributed to tensions between the two. Police had been called to their home 3 times from 1991 to 1996 due to domestic disturbances. On one such occasion, while Linda and Jefferson were arguing, Linda grabbed a gun. She walked to Jefferson's pickup truck and shot his tires. Linda was arrested on June 1, 1991 during a domestic incident when Jefferson reportedly assaulted Linda. According to a statement from Linda, quote, "He shoved me backwards down the front porch. He slapped me on the back of my head, pushed me into the wall," end quote. The charges would subsequently be dropped after Linda told prosecutors that she wanted them to get back together and work things out. In August of 1993, another domestic disturbance occurred when Jefferson allegedly grabbed Linda by her hair when she told him they needed to seek counseling. The charges were dropped when the couple agreed to do just that, to get counseling. In 1993, Linda took out a restraining order against Jefferson. She claimed Jefferson had been threatening her, but they reconciled soon after and the restraining order was dismissed. Linda and her longtime boyfriend Jefferson made plans to visit the Myakka City Bar and Grill, located on Manatee Avenue in Myakka City, on the evening of Saturday, August 17, 1996. Linda lived with Jefferson at his house in Myakka City, just a short drive east of town. Jefferson's property bordered the Myakka River to the east. A dead-end sign displayed at the entrance of his long tree-lined driveway, Arcadia Road, and led to a sprawling property with several acres, including several buildings, patches of woods, 2 ponds, and an open field. The Bar and Grill is one of only 2 places in town where you can get a bite to eat. Before Linda headed out, she drove out to her sister's house, Tina Beal, in Sarasota, where she dropped off her 4-year-old son to be looked after. According to Linda's sister Tina, Linda's son's father passed away before Linda went missing. I was unable to locate the details surrounding his death. Linda and Jefferson arrived at the Myakka City Bar in Jefferson's pickup truck during the late evening hours of Saturday, August 16th. Witnesses who were at the bar that night described the establishment as rough and fierce. Witnesses also claimed that, back then, bar fights were a common occurrence, especially among those who didn't regularly frequent the bar. A regular by the name of Rodney Tootin said that people would come to town from the east and west, and if any strangers stepped in, they got into fights. The last time Linda was ever seen, and the last time Jefferson was seen alive, was during the early morning hours of August 17th when they both left the Myakka City Bar. Later in the evening of August 17th, Linda's sister grew concerned when Linda didn't arrive to pick up her son, and she couldn't get in contact with Linda, so her sister called the police for a welfare check. Around 6:00 p.m., police discovered the bloodied body of Jefferson Lowry Blanton in the hallway of his house on the 37,000 block of 6B Road. He was shot twice in the chest. When police arrived and began their investigation, they noticed there was no sign of a struggle inside his house. All of his belongings appear accounted for. Jefferson and Linda's pickup trucks were both parked nearby. His house was even locked up when police arrived. Police immediately attempted to get in contact with Linda. Since they were unable to locate her, they focused their investigation toward Linda as being the prime suspect with Jefferson's murder. Spokesman for the local sheriff's office, Dave Bristow, said, quote, "For the sheriff's office to publicly name her a suspect means we have enough probable cause to make an arrest or enough for a warrant. At this time, we do not." End quote. As time went on and police were unable to locate Linda, they decided to label her the prime suspect and considered her a fugitive of the law. She was subsequently added to the Manatee County Top 5 Most Wanted list. Police attempted to obtain a warrant for Linda's arrest for Jefferson's murder, but they were unable to retrieve enough evidence to convince a judge to sign off on the warrant. With the murder warrant being a dead end, police decided to attempt a warrant against Linda for child desertion. The judge agreed, and a warrant was officially issued for her arrest. By April of 1997, the Manatee County Sheriff's Office said that new leads indicate that Linda is still alive, and they believed her to be somewhere in the Manatee, Sarasota area. 8 months after Linda's disappearance, the Sheriff's Office reaffirmed their suspicions against Linda. Detective Jim Downey believed that someone helped Linda hide from investigators, fearing she would be charged with murder. In July of 1999, investigators traveled to southern Indiana where they received a tip that a family reunion was being held. They spent several days searching for her after receiving tips of possible sightings, a lead which did not ultimately pan out. In September of 1999, Linda's name was removed from the Manatee County's Top 5 Most Wanted list after the Manatee County Sheriff's Office arrested a man by the name of Larry Parks, who was accused of a triple homicide, which took a sudden sharp turn in the Linda and Jefferson investigation. In 2002, a man by the name of Larry James Parks was found guilty of 3 counts of murder. He admitted to killing a woman in her Panther Ridge home by the name of Sherry Ann Brannon and her 2 small daughters, Shelby, age 7, and Cassidy, age 4. Larry was also in the Myakka City bar during the same night as Linda and was said by witnesses to be a regular of the establishment. Police were successful in lifting a set of fingerprints from Jefferson's pickup truck, which matched Larry James Parks. Although Larry may be directly involved with Jefferson's murder, Jefferson's truck was parked at his house when his body was discovered. It is possible that Larry arrived to the couple's home, murdered Jefferson, and kidnapped Linda, murdering her later that night, then disposing of her body and returning Jefferson's vehicle back to his property. Around the time Larry was arrested, authorities would not confirm exactly where the fingerprints were found. However, detectives believe Larry knew Linda and Jefferson well enough to be inside their vehicle. That tells me that Larry was probably in a passenger seat and not behind the wheel. But the sheriff's media spokesman, Dave Bristow, said he couldn't confirm if Larry's fingerprints were found inside Jefferson's truck. There's a good possibility his prints were lifted somewhere on the vehicle's exterior. However, in a newspaper article of the Sarasota Herald-Tribune, on August 17, 2001, quote, Parks' fingerprint was found inside Letterman's truck and he had been seen at the same bar as the couple, end quote. Another article published by the Sarasota Herald-Tribune on August 26 of 2002 states that witnesses saw Jefferson driving his truck on the night he was murdered. Witnesses did inform detectives that Larry was seen together with Jefferson and Linda at the Myakka bar the night Jefferson was murdered and Linda disappeared. After investigators focused the possible murder of Jefferson toward Larry, investigators began considering that Linda did not murder Jefferson and was instead a victim herself. Larry aside, this is because Linda had a stable job working at a company known as L3 Aviation Recorders as a technician. She was also considered by friends and family to be a great mother who would have never willingly left her son behind. In 2001, Larry Parks was charged with sexually assaulting a woman who also frequented the Myakka City Bar and Grill, but a jury determined that he was not guilty. Police continued to investigate Larry's potential connection with Linda's disappearance and Jefferson's murder, but after 22 years since his guilty plea to the triple homicide, no charges have been filed against him regarding Linda or Jefferson. Larry was eventually convicted of the triple murders and received 3 consecutive life sentences in 2002. The murder weapon that killed Jefferson was never recovered, leading police to further suspect Linda of having some involvement with his murder. Did she pull the trigger? Was she with the person who pulled the trigger and she disappeared with the firearm? Authorities simply don't know. Linda's family hired Sarasota attorney Jay Bailey to have Linda declared legally dead in 2001. Despite the police considering Linda a victim in Jefferson's murder, she is also considered to be a suspect. They didn't provide any specific reason for declaring Linda dead just 5 years after she disappeared. My guess is that it had to do with Linda's son remaining in legal limbo. On September 3, 2001, a judge officially declared Linda as, quote, presumed dead, end quote. Linda's family held a memorial service for her at 1:00 p.m. on Saturday, November 24, 2001, at Palm Robarts Memorial Park in Sarasota. After 28 years, no trace of Linda has ever been found, and Linda's disappearance remains hopelessly unsolved. Linda Fletterman went missing in the middle of the night during the early hours of August 17, 1996, and she has never been seen since. Police have her classified as an endangered missing person. She is described as a white female, 32 years old, standing at 5 feet 6 inches tall. She weighed 125 pounds, and she has brown hair with green eyes. Linda's case is registered as agency case number 1996-029659. If you have any information at all which could help investigators locate Linda Fletterman, please contact Sergeant Robin Moss with the Manatee County Sheriff's Office at 941-747-3011. Thank you very much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And until next time, stay safe out there.